We'll unpack this scene a little bit. The very first thing to notice is that we have scene 2 in a camp near Forres. The setting is always important to at least take note of. In the first scene, we have an open heath, an empty space that's hostile to human life. Here we have a camp, a military camp, because there's civil war in Scotland. Duncan is trying to put down a civil war that his disloyal dukes have risen up against him. And they have gained support from the neighboring Norwegian king, who has sent over troops to fight against Duncan. And the Norwegian king has hired mercenary soldiers from Ireland, who are called gallowglasses and kerns. And the gallowglasses and kerns, who are these soldiers for hire, mercenaries, have been fighting against Duncan and been defeated, and then Sweno, the Norwegian king, sends in his troops, and he gets defeated too. So the basis of the scene at the very opening is that there's civil war, there's disturbance in the court, in the country. And Duncan immediately sees this sergeant who's been cut up in battle, and he's all bloody. And the sergeant therefore has a certain amount of clout because he's seen combat, he's seen action. And he gives this report. He says, "Doubtful it stood as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art." Immediately we've got the description of the battle as though it were a flood, two swimmers drowning in the water. And the drowning of the two swimmers becomes a theme throughout the rest of the play. So far we've got triune imagery, we've got the theme of unnaturalness, fair is foul and foul is fair, and now we've got a third theme developing in the text, that is the theme of water or liquid imagery that comes up over and over again. The two spent swimmers. And the two spent swimmers are very much like Macbeth and Lady Macbeth later on, but also like Macbeth and, say, one of the other thanes that he's up against, like, say, Banquo or Macduff. One way or the other, their drowning is significant. As we move further on, we see that the captain, the sergeant, is actually comparing fortune as though it were in favor of the rebel king. But he's defeated. The rebel king is defeated. The rebel duke is defeated. And this rebel duke named Cawdor, the Thane of Cawdor, is stripped of his rights by Duncan. And those same rights are given to Macbeth. At the end of the scene, he says, "Greet Macbeth," with the office of Cawdor. And because of this, Macbeth then is in comparison to Cawdor. This comparison is throughout the rest of the play, because as Cawdor was valiant even as a rebel, Macbeth becomes less and less valiant. And we see at the very end of the play that they say, what a great man Macbeth is, what a worthy man he is, how noble he is, how much like a royalty he really is. And so at the beginning of the play, we notice he's not a bad man. He's actually very noble. Well, let's move on to the next scene. And in this scene, we have Heath, and again the witches, and the meeting of the witches with Macbeth.